Okay, so for those of you that didn't know or who are just now finding out, I got divorced as of last year, beginning of last year, very beginning of last year. And, you know, very interesting process, very toxic process. But why am I bringing that up today in this video? Well, I wanted to dive into this as it pertains to Germany. It's interesting because I know, like, you know, the process in America I thought was pretty much like straightforward. But I guess in a lot of aspects it's not. And so today we're going to be diving into a more sensitive topic. If you guys are new to the channel, welcome. If you guys are returning viewers, welcome back. For all my new people, if you guys are wondering what we do on this channel, we basically cover all elements of pretty much Europe, specifically Germany, and the cultural differences between the US and Germany, but also I'm diving into learning the language as well, preparing myself to travel to Germany. I think what makes this channel unique right now is I've never been to Germany at all. I think I've had like 2,000 videos on my channel related to Germany, and I've never been, not once. I'm planning on going, but you know, it is what it is right now. The pandemic is definitely making things a little difficult. Anyways, so yeah, I wanted to kind of see what the process was like out there in Germany, if it's like worse or if it's better than America. I also remember saying, going through this whole divorce process and stuff, that I would never get married again because it's just men have a lot to lose in divorce. I'll put it that way. Men have a lot to lose in divorce. Women typically don't. I wish that the process was set up in a way where both parties lose an equal amount of stuff or walk away with very minimal losses, but I don't know. I feel like a system like that is damn near impossible. So I have a website I pulled up. We're going to be diving into this thing. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, or even like recommendations as far as, or like pieces of advice, let me know in the comments down below. I want to learn from you guys, so it'll be pretty cool to get to see all that. Anyways, let's dive nose deep into this thing and see exactly what we're working with. Let's go. All right, so it says on the top, getting a divorce in Germany. Let's read this. The helpful guide. This helpful guide explains the process of getting a divorce in Germany, from how much an attorney costs through to filing for child custody, which we'll get into that in a second. It's important that expats fully understand the process and implications of getting a divorce in Germany. This may, for instance, affect their right to reside in the country, particularly if they have been married for less than 3 years. This helpful guide explains the whole process as well as alternatives you might want to consider. This guide covers the following: an overview of divorce in Germany, the legal grounds for divorce in Germany, what to do if your visa depends on your marriage, getting a divorce in Germany, the process, things to consider when getting a divorce in Germany, alternatives to getting a divorce in Germany, and useful resources. Alrighty, an overview of divorce in Germany. Let's go ahead and let those tears trickle down all of our faces, because divorce is not something anybody wants to think of, but let's go ahead and dive into this. Research suggests that divorce is becoming a less common thing in Germany. Figures from the Federal Statistical Office of Germany, Statistisches Bundes, how do I say this? Statistisches, oh my god, I can't even say this. Statistisches Bundesamt des Staates, anyways, show a total of 187,640 marriages were dissolved in 2011, compared with the 148,066 divorces in 2018. A decrease of around 21%. Oh my God. According to the Eurostat, the EU Statistics Agency, divorce rates in Germany have historically been slightly higher than the EU average. This looks to be changing, however. For instance, in 2010, the divorce rate in Germany was 2.3 per 1,000 inhabitants, above the EU average of 2.0. In 2017, however, the divorce rate had fallen to 1.9 per 1,000 inhabitants, below the EU average of 2.0. Statistics from the status or de status, I don't know how to say this word, also show that marriages now appear to last longer than in previous decades. Those who split up these days have been together on average nearly 15 years. Can you imagine being with somebody for 15 years for that to end in divorce? Look at all that time y'all wasted. While couples who separated 20 years ago stay together on average 12 years. Interesting. The legal grounds for divorce in Germany. In German civil law, German courts have jurisdiction over divorce cases if the couple are EU nationals and have their permanent residence in Germany. The only grounds for divorce recognized by German law is the breakdown of the marriage. Okay. Breakdown of the marriage, we're getting into that. While fault doesn't play a part in divorce proceedings, the court will take into account the behavior of both spouses when deciding whether there has been a marital breakdown. For a marriage to qualify as broken down, the couple must no longer have any conjugal relations, and they do not expect to restore the relationship. Yeah, because what's super annoying here as well is there's people that get divorces and then immediately regret it and then try to get back together. They treat it like a breakup in a way, like a boyfriend girlfriend type thing, and I'm like, nah, it ain't like that, chief. In order to prove that the marriage has broken down, the spouses have to live apart for at least 1 year. Trennungsjahr. If both of them want a divorce, or living apart for 3 years if only one of the partners wants a divorce. Oh, wow. Hold on. Pause. So let's read that again, because I definitely read that in snippets. It says, in order to prove that the marriage was broken down, the spouses have to live apart for at least 1 year if both of them want a divorce, or they have to live apart for 3 years if only one of the partners wants a divorce. Living apart means spouses must stay in separate properties, eat no common meals together, perform no services for the other spouse, wink wink, and have no similarities in their daily lives. Dang. Cases of unbearable hardship. Prepare for the tears, y'all. Pull out the tissues, wipe them up, you know what I'm saying? Because we're about to get into some sensitive stuff. Couples don't have to be separated for a year to divorce if there are cases of an unbearable hardship. This would include things like a spouse experiencing frequent mistreatment and abuse, or living with a spouse suffering from alcoholism. Even in cases of unbearable hardship, however, there are some barriers to getting a divorce. For instance, a couple might need to wait until a year after they have separated, regardless of any unbearable hardship, in the interest of any young children they have. Boom. Divorce may be denied altogether in circumstances where one spouse might cause another significant hardship. For example, if one partner is suffering from a serious illness and a divorce may affect their health. Ooh, that is something I did not think about. Dang, y'all have this broken down nice. I mean, from my experience, it was pretty. You have two different types of like divorce. You have like a what is it called? There's like a super fast divorce, I guess. Like if both parties agree to the terms of everything, then the divorce is super quick. Like you can get that taken care of within like maybe like a day, not a day, but like I'd say a week tops. A week. We can get divorced within a week. But if you guys are beefing, you bring lawyers in it and stuff like that, it could drag out for years, man. It could literally drag out for years. It's terrible. All right, what to do if your visa depends on your marriage. If your right to live in Germany is solely due to your marriage, or you came to Germany through family reunification, you may lose your entitlement to reside there if you get divorced, especially if you have been married for less than 3 years. Talk about ouch, right? You've been like, connected with the land and everything, you're married and everything. All of a sudden, wife says, hey, I don't want to be with you anymore. I'm leaving you for another man. Boom. Drops the bomb, And then on top of that, it's like, hey, by the way, once this is over, you get to take your ass out of Germany, man. You can't live here no more. That's crazy. Well, I mean, you can obviously visit, but you won't be a resident, at least through that. Well, if you've been married for 3 years or more, however, you can renew your residence permit for a year after the divorce. After this period, you can apply for the right to reside in Germany independently. There are some circumstances where your residence permit will be extended even if you have been married for less than 3 years. This applies, for example, if you have a child with your spouse, if you have terminated the marriage because your partner has been certifiably violent against you, or if you are a skilled worker or vocational trainee and have your permit determined extended. Interesting. Getting a divorce in Germany, the process. Here is the process. Oh my God. Getting a divorce is relatively straightforward in Germany. Getting a divorce in America is relatively not straightforward. There's like 300 pages of stuff you got to fill out, man. It's crazy. Like, that's the number one thing I noticed. It was so easy to get married, yo. You just walk in, you sign one piece of paper, make sure you have your birth certificate, and then like your spouse also signs. You can get married within like 15 minutes, but the divorce process takes months to years. It normally takes months, and sometimes like, you know, a couple years, because both parties can't agree on things. And when both parties are agreeing on things, one of the parties tries to take advantage of the party that trying to have the least amount of problems. You know what I mean? It's woo. Steam. Okay, steam. Anyways, if it is a long-term marriage, however, the wealthy partners who have many disputes over assets. Hold on, let me read that slower. If it is a long-term marriage, however, with wealthy partners who have disputes over assets, the process can easily take a year or more. That is exactly what I wanted to say about the U.S. process. Woo! This is due to the court having to step in and make decisions on behalf of both of the spouses. Necessary documentation and paperwork. The first step of getting a divorce in Germany is hiring a lawyer that will deal with the divorce application. This should be lodged at the local court, Amtsgericht, or family court, Familiengericht. If you will usually have to use the local, you will usually have to use the local court that holds jurisdiction of the area where the matrimonial home is located. Ooh, yikes. So you basically have to pick the court that is closest to the house. I wonder how that's gonna work if both people are separated. You'll need to submit the following documentation in order to start the divorce proceedings in Germany: the divorce application, your ID, marriage certificate, get this translated by Lingo King, the birth certificates or certified copies of any children you have. It is important to know that you must translate all documents into German by a certified interpreter, such as Lingo King. The court will then review your application and send it to your partner, asking for their response. During this process, the court will also send you and your partner some additional forms in order to calculate any pension rights that need to be transferred. The initial process can take up to 6 months. When it's finished, you will be given a divorce appointment. You and your spouse and your lawyer must attend the court on this date. The length of the divorce proceedings will vary depending on how long the marriage lasted, whether you and your spouse are in agreement of how assets are divided, and how much money is at stake. Oh, y'all. The one thing I did not see, maybe we should talk about marriage in Germany in the next video, because I'm not sure if there is such thing as a prenuptial agreement, but I feel like that would be like, that's necessary, man, especially if you're getting married and the person you're marrying is getting married into money, and maybe their intention is to, you know, get married into money. I'm going to be making a lot more videos on this kind of topic, because there is an issue that I did see. Basically, you guys have probably seen this all over the headlines and stuff. There was an Instagram model that married a basketball player, had the basketball player's kid, and wound up piecing out after 2 weeks, and got a secret divorce on top of that. He didn't even know he was divorced. Secret divorce. I don't even know how that works. A secret divorce, bruh? How does that even work? Like, how do you get divorced without the other person knowing in 2 weeks? That's the crazy thing, you know? So anyways, she made it so that he couldn't see his kid, and he was super devastated. So he isn't playing basketball for this entire year. I think allegedly too, he has to pay like $200K in child support a month, which is ridiculous. Another thing that we'll talk about later on. But anyways, so costs of getting a divorce in Germany. Now I feel like this is gonna be similar to America, because woo! Now, how much did your boy spend on his divorce? I spent $4,000. Ouch, that shit hurted, man. I went like broke. Like, your boy ran out of money, okay? Your boy was crawling in the dirt. It was really bad. But I think I'm one of the lucky ones, because I've heard people spend as much as $50,000 on a divorce because the parties were just so cutthroat with each other. It was like people were slinging feces at each other for like the entire process, you know, figuratively speaking, not literally. The cost of getting a divorce in Germany will depend on your circumstances. Factors such as how much both spouses earn and how many dependent children will be affected will be taken into account. In general, court and legal costs are said to sit between €1,000 and €3,000. This usually has to be split between the couple. If there are disagreements, however, these fees will increase. This is because the process will take longer and therefore incur more work and fees for the lawyers. As a result, some people may choose to represent themselves in order to cut costs. However, if the divorce is acrimonious and large sums of money, paperwork, and complex circumstances are involved, it might be best to let a professional deal with your case. For those on low incomes, legal aid, Verfahrenkostenhilfe, will be available, which will either reduce costs or cancel them altogether. You will have to make an application to the state for legal aid, and a lawyer can help you with this. Dang, well, seems like the cheat code to getting a divorce in Germany is making sure you broke. No, anyways, things to consider when getting a divorce in Germany. As with any country, there are important factors to consider when undergoing a divorce in Germany. These will, of course, depend on your individual circumstances, such as whether you share children or property together. Here are some of the main things you should think about. Custody of children and child support. Oh my God, this hurts. If you have children, they will also be affected by your decision to get divorced. As a general rule, both parents have joint custody of their children even after the divorce has gone through. However, people can violate this and it takes forever to get it corrected in the courts. I'm not sure if that happens in Germany, but in America, oh yeah, it's definitely a thing. Joint custody means that parents must make decisions together about major things like the children's religion, medical care, and which school they attend. The parent who houses the child, however, can make minor day-to-day decisions. If parents cannot agree on these larger issues, the court can then decide which parent should make these decisions, which that also sucks too. It's important to note that the parent will only be granted sole custody of a child in extreme cases. For example, one parent has been abusive towards the child. So I think a lot of people get this mixed up too. So I feel like when people think that like when you're going through divorces and stuff and you guys have a child and whatnot together, let's say like you and the spouse like had a toxic ass relationship, right? Typically both spouses will use that toxic relationship to justify the other person not having custody of the kid. As long as you haven't done anything to the kid itself, then both parties will get some kind of custody, as far as I know. Child support. Ooh, we like that. Let's go. Whichever parent does not live with the child will have to pay child support. This is payable from when the child is born up until when they turn 18 or earn money for themselves. The Düsseldorfer Tabella guidelines will help determine how much child support a parent will need to pay in Germany. This amount will depend on the parent's income and the age of the child. Whoa, that's interesting. I did not know about that. That as a general rule, the younger the child and the more the parent earns, the larger the amount of child maintenance. The court considers all income relevant, not only the parent's salary, but also any benefit payments, savings, interest, and pension income they have. Oh, damn, that's intense, yo. If a parent is self-employed or receives money from rent, their income will be calculated as an average of the last 3 years. Employed parents will have their last 12 months salary taken into account. Owning the property they live in can also have influence. In this instance, the court will take into account the saved rent when calculating how much child support they can afford. Your child custody situation may mean that you require more child care provision. Oh my God, bro! This is bringing back some PTSD, bro. In case you guys didn't know, I actually have a child myself. I have not been able to see for the last 2 years. I'm paying child support, and the the custody agreement was very interesting. Very interesting. The way it's set up, I think I am supposed to have custody of my child pretty much less than a quarter of the year, and it was either that or some other ridiculous custody thing. But I'm pretty sure there's going to be another interesting situation popping up in the future. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But I was very curious about this. Spousal maintenance. The court may decide that one partner is eligible to receive spousal maintenance. There are payments that can go towards any expenses the spouse has, and is completely separate from child support. So this is basically the alimony side of things, like, money that you pay specifically for your spouse, which I also find ridiculous. But the child support I don't find ridiculous. I think that makes sense. I just feel like how it's divided sometimes can be ridiculous, because you can also there's certain things you can do with child support that are like, whoa, what the heck. Whichever partner earns less usually receives spousal maintenance, which is normally the woman, sometimes it's not, but more cases than not, it's usually the woman. The court will also consider whether the divorce will adversely affect their lives. A spouse only has the right to spousal maintenance if they meet the following criteria. They have taken care of the children. Boom. He or she cannot earn a living due to their age, illness, or weakness. Boom. They lost a job and cannot find another one. Boom. They need maintenance or further education. 3 of those can be finessed. One of them can't. He or she cannot earn a living due to their age, illness, or weakness. That's the only one that can't be finessed, but the other 3 points, they can literally finesse that and get spousal support. Anyways, and you guys can let me know how that's been for anybody you've ever seen go through this process. I want to see how, I'm pretty sure it can get pretty nasty as far as the divorce process in Deutschland. Oh my God, what the heck? Move these cookies out the way, bruh. Oh my God, I think I lost my spot. Let's go back down. Unbearable hardship. We were talking about the paperwork. Blah, 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 blah. Spousal maintenance. Okay, the amount of time that a spouse receives maintenance depends on a number of factors. These include how disadvantaged the spouse is from divorce, how long the marriage lasted, who earned the income and who looked after the household, and how long the spouse looked after the children for. In Germany, spouses can no longer request lifelong maintenance. Thank God. Oh my God, thank God. Yo, get it yourself, bruh. So they will receive money for a limited amount of time only. Because isn't it crazy? If you got spousal maintenance or alimony and child support, you basically don't have to, it's like a retirement check. That's a retirement check. You don't have to work for the rest of your life. If a spouse receives maintenance for looking after a child, they must get a job once the child is 3 years old. This, therefore, limits how much they will receive. It is important to bear in mind that the courts view spousal maintenance differently from state to state. Courts in North Germany, for instance, are generally stricter and more restrictive than courts in the south of Germany, which also makes sense because the south of Germany parallels the values of America. So that makes, oh my God, it makes so much sense. Property division. When getting a divorce in Germany, you will also need to consider dividing your possessions between you and your partner. Each spouse can keep any assets they have earned before or accrued during the marriage. The couple might share any increases in value during the marriage. However, for instance, if one partner has an expensive work of art, they will remain the sole proprietor of that item. However, if the artwork increased in value by 5,000 euro during the marriage, the couple will share this extra amount. This will not occur, however, if the court deems this grossly unfair to one spouse, even if they caused the divorce. Interesting. If both spouses agreed to own their property jointly, they must divide it in its entirety. If the spouses cannot agree on what to do with their matrimonial home, the court may award it to one of them. As for the contents of the house, the court will divide items equally between both partners. The court will also take into account pensions. If either spouse accrues pension rights during the marriage, for example, they acquire the rights to an occupational pension fund, they must split this as part of the divorce too. That's also something we have here. So if you have a pension, and stuff like that, and you've been together for a certain amount of time, it has to be like a long time, like 5-10 years or something like that, then your spouse is entitled to your pension. So be careful who you lay up with. Rather than handing over money directly from the pension, the courts may decide that the spouse with less money is entitled to more benefits or increased spousal maintenance. Okay, alternatives to getting a divorce in Germany. Marriage counseling. Boom. Talking that shit out. Boom. The end. Anyways, divorce is not the only solution to ending a marriage in Germany. Yeah, you could hire a hitman. German legislation also allows marriage annulment and legal separation. There are no legal formalities for a legal separation. One of the spouses must simply move out and live separately. However, only a German court can declare a marriage annulment. Getting an annulment. So annulment's pretty much like the marriage never happened, you know? In some circumstances, a judge can grant an annulment if there is a suitable reason for the dissolution of marriage. There are several requirements for an annulment in German law as follows. At the time of the marriage, one spouse had not reached the age of majority and had not been validly exempted from this requirement. Another reason is one spouse did not have the capacity to contract. Another reason is at the time of the marriage, one spouse was already married. Ooh, that's grimy, bro. That is grimy. Another one is the spouses are related to one another in direct line of descent. Oh my. Or full or half siblings, even if the family relationship has been extinguished by adoption. Bruh, this is okay. Next one. The spouses did not make their declarations of marriage together and in person before the registrar, or made those declarations subject to a condition or time limit. The next one is one spouse was unconscious for their mental faculties were temporarily disturbed when they entered into the marriage. Can that even happen? Can you marry somebody if they're knocked out? Bro, that's fucked up. Like, what a messed up world we live in. At the time of the marriage ceremony, one spouse did not know that the marriage was taking place. How do you not know that the marriage? Anyways, one spouse was induced to enter into the marriage by deceit. Oh, well, there could be that. I've seen a lot of that. One spouse was unlawfully induced to enter the marriage by duress. Oh, that's messed up. I think I've heard of some situations like that too. At the time of the marriage, both spouses agreed that they did not intend to enter a matrimonial relationship. Oh my God. Sorry, if this is triggering some people, I apologize. I did not mean for this to be as down bad as it's been, but I have to know. Prices for annulments can vary. You'll need to hire a solicitor or lawyer to file your application. The more complicated the case, the more they will charge. The process does, however, tend to be less expensive than divorce proceedings. Those on low incomes may be able to claim legal aid and any other help. Your earnings will determine what help you get. Hiring a divorce mediator. This was interesting because I had to do that shit. While it is not a common option in Germany, some couples may prefer to settle their separation with a divorce mediation, as it saves having to go to court. Oh my God, it definitely does. A qualified and independent mediator will help the couple find a consensual solution to the division of assets and other matters. Mediators have no power to impose any agreement on the spouses, and if the couple cannot come to a mutual agreement, the court will settle the divorce. And trust me, you don't want it. The courts don't even want you to be there, bruh. You just settle it amicably. You will need to tell the court if you tried and failed to settle your conflicts in mediation. As the mediation process is confidential, you can't use matters that you discussed in court unless in extreme cases, such as to prevent danger to a child. The cost of mediation can vary. However, you can expect to pay anything between $80 to $200 per hour, or 80 euro to 200 euro per hour. If you're looking for a mediator service, they give you a reference right here. Boom, boom, boom. And then here are the useful sources. Whoo! And then here it's like, what are the best ways to start dating again after her divorce? Bro, just give yourself some time to heal and then get out there on the market, my guy. That was interesting. Painful process to go through, but definitely something worth talking about because I've been through it. I've been through the divorce process. It was quite nasty. Fortunately, it could have been way nastier had certain situations been a little bit more intense than I anticipated, but I think I over projected and I wound up not having as bad of a experience as I could have had. It still was pretty bad, but you know, it could always be worse. But let me know what you guys think about that in the comments down below. We are going to get into a lot more interesting topics. As you guys can see, we've covered pretty much every crazy topic on my YouTube channel in regards to Germany, so we're going to be diving into the juicier stuff that people don't want to talk about, because you know, we're starting to enter that realm of topics that I feel like are very important. I feel like people don't think about this, because I have seen an influx of people getting married and stuff like that, which is totally fine. But I feel like, you know, getting married without knowing what the divorce processes are, and I know it sounds messed up to even say, but you just would, it's better to know and not need it than to need it and not have it. You know what I mean? Like, imagine, because no one plans on getting divorced, you know, it just happens. Like one of the two people are just like, dang, like, I don't like you anymore, boom, you know. So you got to figure out what the process is so you don't get blindsided. Because if you're learning about the process while you're going through it and the other person already knows how it works, you're going to be disadvantaged. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry for this not so upbeat video. I just wanted to cover it because I'm like, that's interesting. I wonder what it's like in Germany. What I can say is it does seem like Germany's a little bit more balanced when it comes to how the divorces end a bit, but I also feel like it depends on your lawyer. Like, I think it all centers around the lawyer that you have. If you have a good lawyer, things might enter in your favor, possibly, assuming that the lawyer that the other person has is bad and is not doing their job. If you have a bad lawyer, then yeah, once again, you're not going to be able to get too much out of it. But you guys let me know what you think in the comments down below. It's been an honor and a privilege talking to you guys, and I will see you soon. Take care. Peace. Well, what a pleasure it is to see all of your beautiful faces at the end of this lovely video. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'm sure you know, as I've mentioned in the past, we do have a Discord that's linked in the description down below, and we would love to have you a part of the world's greatest community ever, Bray Gang. Yes, if you've made it to this point in the video, you're officially a part of the community. So go ahead, join the Discord server. Link is in the description down below. And we also have other social media as well, like Instagram, Twitter. We're live. We go live on Twitch quite often as well. So it would behoove you to, you know, go ahead and subscribe to the Twitch channel at twitch.tv/JamesBrayGang. Join the cause and be a part of the greatest, literally the greatest community ever. Okay, it's simple. Just go ahead and do those little things. We're trying to grow on all these little platforms and everything, and it really means a lot. Now, I know you guys stumbled up across the channel and you're like, what does this guy post? Like, what kind of content does he post? Reactions, vlogs, pretty much whatever comes to my mind. All right, it's random content. I don't know what I'm gonna be posting 10 years from now, but I do know that you can stick along for the journey, and it really means a lot. Now, for every single person that subscribes and follows all of the accounts that I have made, and all the links will be in the description down below, that's an automatic entry for any future giveaways I decide to have. I'll remind you when the giveaways take place, but you'll be surprised what I will be giving away, because you guys have supported me so much up to this point, and it's only right that I do the same thing back. Thank you guys so much for being amazing, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Peace.